I'm gonna say it, this is my favorite phone controller. This is the Gamesir X4 Aileron, designed for Xbox. It's got the stamp of approval, and it even comes with 1 month Game Pass Ultimate, because this is a phone controller which is aimed at streaming Game Pass, which is awesome. But what do we get inside the box? So let's take a look, shall we? We get this. So inside here, we get our 1 month free Game Pass Ultimate code. We also get a rather nice USB-A to USB-C cable, and then we get some sticky rubber pad things which basically space off smaller phones so that they fit. And then it gets to the good stuff. Now, I wasn't expecting this to come in such a nice case. I wasn't even expecting a case. This is beautiful. And then inside, we get this. Oh yes, here it is. This is the X4 Aileron, and oh, I just love this thing. And then there's accessories as well. So you get different types of thumbstick caps and a different D-pad. Umbrella, anyone? And then of course, we get the X4 Aileron just here, and I love this. I love pretty much, actually no, I think I love everything about this, and I don't think I've ever said that before. So straight away you will see it comes in this sort of design, and I love it. This means it does that. Wow, how cool is that? So it stores together really smartly, you know, it just magnetizes in like so, and it takes up so much less room. So even if you don't use the case, which I'd advise you do, you can just throw this in a bag or whatever as is, and it takes up so much less room than pretty much every other phone controller I've seen, because they're normally like expandable, or they're like just one big grip that your phone goes into. Now this is 2 halves which come into play like this, and I just love that form factor. It's so cool. It's only got 1 USB-C charge port, so you just stick it together like so. You can see the contacts inside here, right? And you just stick it together, stick the USB in and charge it, and it charges both sides. You don't need to do them independently or anything like that. It's absolutely awesome. Yeah, they're just come apart like so. So before we properly start, I think we need to go over the specs. So we have a D-pad, which is of course swappable, but this is also mechanical, right? So it is a tactile, clicky D-pad. We then have Hall effect sensing joysticks with not only the friction rings around it, but also the metal anti-friction ring bits underneath the joysticks, which I love. So it makes for a super smooth, buttery smooth joystick experience. I love it. And all the accessories, you know, the swappable ones of these all have the metal ring as well. So they're just awesome. We get mechanical face buttons and triggers just here, or bumpers you want to call them, right? So these are actually 5 million click dampened mechanical switches, and they are beautiful. Like, I absolutely love them. If you don't know what mechanical switch is, membrane are like sort of mushy. They don't really have a sound to them. Mechanical is like a mouse switch, right? These are micro switches inside them, so you can hear like this. So you can hear there's like a tactile click, and that means they have a really fast actuation. So your inputs are going to be detected a lot quicker than membrane buttons. And also membrane buttons have a typical lifespan of about 1 million clicks. These have 5 million clicks, so you're getting way more out of this. Now the triggers themselves are analog. So we do have analog triggers, but they also have a hair trigger mode. So you can swap it over to basically a digital trigger instead of an analog, which is also awesome. And that can be done with this M button. You've got your screenshot button and share button just there. We've got a Bluetooth button. We've got an Xbox button, and I love this. Got whatever that is, select. Oh, dropped it. You've also got start as well on the top just there, but there is secret buttons on the back, and that is these. So you've got R4 and L4, and these are programmable back paddles, and you can button swap to these, and yes, they do have true button swap. So one thing you'll notice is there's no USB-C port, right? So there's no male USB-C to go into your phone or anything. This uses a low latency wireless connection to pair to your phone, and it's so easy to do. You literally lift these up, watch this. So I lift this up, it turns on. How cool is that? Let it drop, turns off. Same with the right side, lift this up, and it turns on. Let it drop, turns itself off. It's so cool. And once you've paired it, all you need to do is press this Bluetooth button for like 3 seconds, and then it will just start pairing. You pair it to your phone, and then that's it. It is paired. The only thing is with this, and this could be seen as like the only downside really, is you won't be able to use like foldable phones, you know, those big like tablet phones that fold out into massive phones, because you do have a lip here, and obviously that's maximum extension, right? So that is the only downside I can see. But for me, I love this thing because I personally don't really like it where you've got a USB-C male connector, because you have to like jank it in, and I'm always worried I'm going to damage the port on my phone. You don't have to worry about that here because these have their own battery life. They're not leaching from your phone. And the other thing I really like here is I've got a Google Pixel 8 Pro, which is a pretty big phone, and I've got a case on it, right? And normally I have to take cases off to then be able to put these into phone controllers, but not this one. I can put that in and it sits in there pretty snug, but it does sit in there. And the same with this side if I just lift it up. So I've got my phone in there now, and even though it's clamped on with a case on it, which is slightly too big, it's still really sturdy. There's no real wiggle there or flex or anything on either way. It is just in there sturdy. I really like that. It would probably fit even better if I took the case off, but I'm lazy. I don't want to take the case off. I just want to put the thing on and play, and this lets me do that, and I really like that. It's like the little things, right? And of course, I've got this paired, and I've only paired it once, and every time I've opened the thing and attached it, it's just connected successfully every single time. It is awesome. So this is what it looks like on my phone, and obviously it doesn't matter on the length of your phone because it just clamps on either side. So some of them, you know, are like too small, like in width for your phone. You're not going to have that problem with this. So just taking a look at the actual thing itself, I really like the design choice of this. I think it looks really smart. We've still got a little bit of a kick out here. There's some good ergonomics going on here because you've got this big rounded sort of edge just here, like the horn of it, and it's all rubber. So this is actually rubber. It's really nicely textured. I like that a lot. It sits in your hand really well. You know, like the ergonomics of this are lovely. Those back paddles as well sit perfectly under your middle fingers. I've been having a blast with this thing, and I didn't think it would be as comfortable as it actually is, just because I was thinking maybe the like ergonomics, it needs to have more of a horn going on. But actually, if you hold it like this and you're playing with the face buttons, it's really nice. And if you just have a slightly looser grip, nowhere near as bad as like a Nintendo Switch Joy-Con, right? But just a slightly looser grip, you can get down to this right sort of analog stick, the asymmetrical layout, perfectly fine. And that's normally a problem for asymmetrical layouts, is that it's crampy for your thumb, right? But the way that they've designed this with these bits here and how the horn kicks down, I have my little finger rested underneath and I can get to this perfectly, and I've had no problems whatsoever, you know, playing like FPS games and stuff like that. It's really, really nice. So design-wise, I actually quite like it. And I even like the little green Gamesir, like, I don't know, antenna, do you want to call it that? The little antenna on the top, and obviously they're green because of Xbox. I love that. And yeah, I just really like the design of it. It feels super comfortable. The actual thing itself feels really nice. The face buttons are lovely, really like that. The joysticks are really good as well. And the D-pad, even though it's a clicky one, I love it. Like, it's really, really good. But there is an app where we can do so much more cool stuff. So now we are in the app, and you can click on it. You can see the battery life of each side as well. You can go to gamepad test and you can check how buttery smooth and how really, really precise these joysticks are. Like the precision of the motion that I'm moving this joystick is following really nicely. Really like these a lot. And yeah, you can just test everything just here. So you can test all the directions and, you know, buttons and all that good stuff. And you can test the analog triggers just here, so you can see if I only hold it a little bit or I can put it all the way up. It's really good, right? So that's that. We then have button settings, so you can change this from an Xbox layout to a Switch layout if you want, or you can even change the back paddle mapping from the app if you don't want to do it on the fly. You can do it on the fly, I'll show you that in a minute, but yeah, you can do everything from the app. You've even got joystick settings, so you can change the dead zone, you can test how precise they are, if they return back to center as well, which they absolutely do. They are spot on returning to center. You can change the dead zone, as I've said. You can invert the axis and everything. It's great. Really like that. You've got trigger settings as well, so you can see again that these are Hall effect analog triggers right here. and you can see them in use. But if I change this one to a digital trigger, it's gone into hair trigger mode, so it's just 100% as soon as I touch it, right? If I turn that back off, I was pressing it about there, and bam, straight away, 100%. So you can really tailor this to your play style, and I love that. You've even got light settings here. Again, you could do it on the fly, but you can change the speed and the brightness from the app. You can change the colors and all that good stuff. There's so much stuff here. You've got function settings, so you've got battery warning, when it goes into sleep as well. You've got restore to default. You can even read the manual here, and firmware upgrade as well. So mine had a firmware upgrade, so just make sure the screen turns on and it will fly through that, all good, and then it just turns itself back on. Really, really cool. That is the app. The app is super easy to use. I really like it. So now we are into Game Pass, and of course I've been streaming using this. So I've been streaming from Game Pass's servers with this controller, but of course I can as well remote play my Xbox Series X with this as well from the same app or from the other Xbox app if I want to. But mainly I've just been streaming from Game Pass servers, which is just how I've been using this the most, to be honest. And whilst we're loading up a game, what we can do as well on the fly is press M and press up and down on the D-pad, and you can change the volume. You can also change the joystick's brightness by pressing M and pulling down on the left stick. You can see now they're off, or like that's low and then slightly brighter. And I think there's like 3 different settings. And if I go M and then like left, that changes the effect. So now I've got red and blue on one side. If I do it again, it's slightly different. I think it changes, you know, the brightness or something. If I do it again, well then now it's off entirely. If I do it again, then it's like triggered by the movement that you're doing, right? So it will follow the joysticks. If I do it again, it goes into just like a single color, like breathe. If I do it again, it goes back into this kind of like rainbow wave, which is just what I've been leaving it on, to be perfectly honest. But of course you can just turn it off, which is awesome. But now we're into Have a Nice Death, and this is a perfect kind of game for using these mechanical switches, because like I said, mechanical switches are super quick to actuate. I will always choose mechanical switches in my face buttons over membrane buttons, but that's just my personal preference, purely for how quick they are to actuate. I love playing stuff like this, like Souls-like games and Metroidvanias, and a lot of kind of like platformy fighting games, not like actual fighting games like Street Fighters and stuff. That's not my thing, but this kind of game I love, and a lot of the time you need to have a real fast input, and that is exactly what you get from mechanical face buttons. So that's one of the benefits of the mechanical face buttons. Again, spot on, really like them. And again, I forgot to say, but you've probably seen it anyway, I love that they've got the Xbox like colors on there as well. It's just a nice little detail. But this is what I absolutely love, because I do a lot of streaming of Game Pass, at least on my phone, testing these phone controllers, or on my Steam Deck, or even with some other streaming devices, right? And one thing that really bugs me when I'm doing Game Pass is I have to touch up here, I have to press the little thing, I have to press the Xbox button up there, and then it will give me my Xbox menu, right? And that really bugs me. I don't like touching the screen when I'm playing a game, because I don't like sticking fingerprints on my screen. It really bugs me. I'm gonna have to find a cloth and clean it. You know, like it's just annoying. But this is a dedicated Xbox button. So you can see AJ's online, more of him in the podcast. You can press the Xbox button and it will actually pull up your Xbox menu, and I love that, because that just takes away from having to touch the screen again, touch the screen again, and get so many fingerprints all over it. I've got a dedicated Xbox button, and I love that. Like, and I just love it aesthetically as well. Like, I love the Xbox logo, always have, always will. And yeah, to see this be an actual designed for Xbox controller by Gamesir, you know, in collaboration with Xbox, this makes me so incredibly happy, because this is like the definitive way to play Game Pass on your phone. Like, it just is. It really, really is. I love it. And now we are into Starfield just here. And again, for that right stick, right, for first-person shooters and stuff, I've been having a blast with this, being able to use a Hall effect sensing joystick to aim with and everything. The benefit of a Hall effect sensing joystick module is A, they are quicker to actuate, again, over potentiometer sticks. They're just faster, right? Which also means lower dead zone. Again, you can sort that out in the app if you want to change that for your own preference. But also, one of the biggest critical things is zero drift. Because we've got the anti-friction ring and the like little joystick metal cappy thing as well, they are buttery smooth to play first-person shooter games with. And again, it is comfortable. If you hold it like this, I've been having a blast playing first-person shooter games. Love it. And now let's talk about those back paddles. So we do have these back paddles on either side, and there's one thing I really love about this. Well, there's actually a couple. So first of all, you can button swap over to these back paddles, right? So I can assign, let's say X, right, to this back paddle. So what I'm gonna do is press M and the back paddle that I want to assign it to, right? And then that's gonna start flashing. I'm gonna press X once and that's it, it's assigned. So now on the back paddle, I'm just pressing that. It's now assigned X, right? But this isn't just your average assign, this is a true button reassign essentially. So if I press and hold that back pedal, see it's charging up, and now I can release like a super move. This does have true button swap. So you can do like a short press and it will do that move, or you can do a long press and it will actually do that as well. But there's one thing I really love, and we see this with a lot of Nintendo Joy-Cons because I review loads of those as well, right? Because they're independent parts, you've got the right side and the left side, just like this, they're not attached in any way. On Nintendo, they act as two separate controllers, right? A lot of the time. And that means you cannot assign something from this side to this side. But with this one, you can. So if I press and hold this back paddle on the left and the M button, that's gonna flash. I'm gonna press X again, and now I'm pressing this button just here on the left side, and it's actually, you know, remapped it to that side. I love that. That is such a good feature. So it doesn't matter what you want to reassign, doesn't matter which side you're doing it. And that sounds like a small feature, but with the hundreds of Joy-Con alternatives I've reviewed, this is a big feature, and I really commend Gamesir for doing that with this. And then of course, once you're done, you just pull them off. Boom, like that, nice and easy. Spin it around and you are done. I absolutely love this. Let's take a look at those accessories. So in the box, we've got some different joystick caps. We've got some extra sort of fat boy ones just here, and then we've got some little nubs. These are keyed and they only go on one way. So I do find them just a little bit fiddly to get it in place first. There's like two prongs on either side, as you can see there, right? As long as you've got them aligned correctly, then you just push down, and now I've swapped that over from this to the nub, right? And I really like that. Personally, I feel like I get a lot of accuracy, and it almost feels like there's more range of motion. Even though there's not, it's just a smaller top. It's not like a larger stick or anything, you know, they're the same height. It's just the topper is smaller. And then obviously on the other side, we could go for one of the fat boy ones. There's not a lot in it, but this one is bigger. So it is just very slightly bigger, and it's got a slightly different top as well. So it's a little bit more smooth rather than like more of a hard edge on this one. And then you just click it down and there we go. That's the extra big one on the top just there. And I really like that as well. And then we've got the D-pad. So if you don't like this one, then you can just pop this off. So you kind of got to get your nails under there and just pull it off. And that reveals this kind of like housing just here. And then you can get the spare, and you just got to line up the dots really, and then kind of push it down. And now we can go for the Umbrella Corpse looking one. I'm not too sure why they've gone with this one. It looks like Resident Evil to me, but I love that. That just makes me love this even more because I'm a big Resident Evil fan. So yeah, I actually like this feel as well. It does feel good in terms of, you know, being an 8-way D-pad, but it still is an 8-way D-pad even with this. But yeah, it's just personal preference, and they give you both, which they didn't have to. Okay, so how much does this cost? Well, this isn't cheap. It comes in at about £110 here in the UK. That's probably about $125, something like that, which is a lot of money, but you're only buying one of these. It's just the controller. It's got Hall effect sensing joysticks, which are not gonna drift. It's got mechanical face buttons. It's got Hall effect analog triggers. It's got assignable back paddles. You know, there's so much stuff going on with this. This is gonna last you forever. Like, it's gonna last so long, and it's an officially sort of approved Xbox design as well. You know, they've said yes, go ahead with that, we approve of it. That's awesome. So if you're a massive Xbox advocate and you love Xbox and you want to play your Game Pass anywhere, this has been my favorite phone controller to review. I just love all the small details. I love that it's two halves. I love that it goes together like this to make it really small and compact to fit in your bag or your pocket. I love that they give you a case as well. I love the fact that it doesn't have a USB-C. You know, it's just wirelessly connected. to your phone. I love the fact that you can assign any side to either side of the, to either back paddle. It's not like right side only or left side only. You can assign the face buttons to this left side or the D-pad to this right side. Like, I love that. There's just so many little things that I really like about this, and that's what comes together to make me be blown away by this. I really am. As a phone controller goes, which I never used to be into phone gaming, but I definitely love streaming to my phone. This has been excellent. I really like it. So if you want a high-end controller to play Game Pass, then I would highly recommend the Gamesir X4 Aileron. Aileron? I don't know. I can't talk anyway. That's what I'm calling it. So what do you guys think of the X4 Aileron by Gamesir and Xbox? Let me know down in the comments. Is this your kind of thing, or would you rather just attach a controller, or would you rather, stream it to another device or whatever? Who knows? Become a member. You can see these videos earlier, and also you get an invite to our private Discord where you can come and chat to me and AJ and everyone else as well. And talking of AJ, go check out our podcast up here where we talk about all things gaming, and check out another video from me down here. Bye.